the audio. Maybe it's
Hello?
hello.
Oh, it's working.
Uh,
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I'm so excited to see you guys. It's good to be back. And I was asking how you were. And then I go, Steve, how's life treating you? And then no one answered. I was like, what's going on? How you doing, Steve?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be back. Had a couple hiccups in the road, but all is well. I'm still blessed, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Nick, did you dye your beard?
No, it's just my hair is up and my hair is very blonde.
Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah.
I usually don't have it up, so it looks
I like
different.
your hair up.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel it's weird. I prefer it down, but I needed it up today. It looks nasty.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just got back from vacation, so I'm still wanting to be on vacation. I'm still on vacation mentally.
Yeah, I remember you went with your niece, right? As well?
No, I went with my mom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I was just kind of hanging out for a week.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Where did you guys go?
We went to Los Angeles and Laguna Beach in California.
Oh, so did you actually go to the beach?
I did. That's all I did was walk around on the beach.
Oh,
They're a lot
good.
different from Florida beaches, but it was a really fun trip.
Yeah, a lot different than Florida beaches, that's for sure.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
water's super cold, right?
Oh yeah, I was freezing, but I loved it.
Awesome. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing good, thank you. What's new over there?
Nothing much. Waiting for this storm to come ashore.
Oh, that's right. You guys are getting hit with the storm. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
we've only had a little bit of rain so far. I think the thing is just sitting off of South Carolina and spinning, so we're just kind of waiting.
Because I've been so out of loop and also I don't really watch news. How is it a tropical storm? Is it a hurricane?
It's tropical. It's tropical storm right now. It came in what 2 or 3 days ago. Cedar Key, Florida, as a hurricane. I
Yeah.
don't know. You may have not been back yet.
No, I wasn't. I actually was coming in as it was landing in some like area. And so they were saying that there was going to be a lot of turbulence. And I was like, oh boy, but it actually,
That's the same thing that happened to me coming in.
yeah.
I went through the storm and it was very turbulent.
Oh, it was for you. For us, it
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
I got lucky.
Well, that's good.
Even the East Coast, we have weather problems.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. But glad everybody's, how are you doing, Harvey?
I'm good. Just working away here. Well, had a good run in the morning, ate breakfast, so
Awesome.
back in my routine.
Oh, good. I know it feels so good to be back in a routine. I know I did a live yesterday with you and I talked to you guys a little bit, but man, being out of the country for a month and 3 weeks is like, oh my gosh, with a baby, and it's insane. And like, we have a lot of the problem is we have a lot of family in France, so we're always moving. So like one week we're staying with one people, and then also too, my husband's family, we do every 2 years we do 2 weeks and we rent a specific like chateau or the last time it was in Morocco and we went and rented like a villa and everybody just stays together and we cook and the kids play in the pool all day long. We play games and we just hang out as a family for 2 weeks straight. And it's always been something we do since he's been young. And so this year we did it and we rented a chateau in the south of France, but then we had one chateau, which was supposed to be where I was going to get married. We're already married, but have my wedding reception with the family, but we had Aiden, the baby, so it got canceled and we had a deposit. So we ended up using that for the family chateau. And let me tell you, this is like no big issues. I sound like a brat, but whoa, the chateau was so big that carrying a baby that weighs 24, 25 pounds, it couldn't crawl yet. He crawls now, but that back then can't walk and in back and forth in the chateau, trying to the kitchen, getting his food, his toys, going upstairs to change. Oh, I lost like probably 8 pounds and I ate whatever I wanted.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, but my back is on fire.
Well, I had a similar issue. I travel a lot. It sounds like it's fun and stuff, but sometimes it's so tiring you don't want to go anywhere. Like sometimes when I come back to California, I don't want to leave my house unless I go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to go anywhere. And then
Mhm.
I go see my family a lot. And so last October I was in family vacation with all my family, it's 30, 40 people. So we have a wedding, and these guys lost my suitcase. And I'm like, they lost my suitcase, and then like I'm losing my cool. I'm like, guys, like, oh, we'll have it the next time. Like, no, I need it right now. Like, this is my suitcase. I have my wedding stuff in this. Like, I can't go in t-shirts and a tank top. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And like, I had to pay a taxi driver $100 to take me back, and then $100 to bring me back to the airport just to make sure they don't lose my suitcase. And like, I had everything, my laptop, everything, my whole life in there. And I just like,
Oh,
and on top of that, my niece and nephew are with me. They're crying, like, where are you going? Where are you not going? I'm like, yo, I'm not leaving anywhere. Relax. I'm still right here. And then it's like,
oh, they don't understand.
I'm
Yeah.
just like you left us once, you're gonna leave us again. I'm because I moved to California, right? I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I just need to get my suitcase. Let me focus, okay? And then
Oh,
so and
the
on top of that,
guilt.
it's tropical weather, so it's raining. So it's like I don't have an umbrella. So I was like, I'm just like, I'm one of those moods. Leave me alone, man. So let me just get my objective done and get the next thing done, right? So
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Oh, yeah. It's and when you have a big family, there's so many like moving
Personalities.
parts, so many personalities, so many moving parts, and it's never, but they all it's helpful because they help me with the baby a lot too. But anyways, but yeah, I'm happy to be back, happy to be in the habits. Definitely not leaving for another month and a half again. So thanks for potting bearing with me. I did really good because in July I was like, I'm gonna add on new calls because the first chateau we were, I was like, okay, I'm on vacay mode for 2 weeks, and then and I have a couple calls. So Wi-Fi is okay in here. I'm gonna add some more calls for them in July, and then we get to the next chateau. The Wi-Fi was horrible. So yeah, so happy that we didn't do that. So this month, basically, we're going to be doing some one-on-ones. So like I told you guys, we're going to have some one-on-ones that you'll be able to schedule with me today, after a call, and then I'll also put it in the link for any of you and the dashboard link where it typically is for you guys. After as well. And then we're going to do some mock date calls as well, some more mock date calls this week and next week, next week coming up. And also too, would love for you guys to also start bringing examples. Like for example, if you are online dating, if you're talking to a woman, text message examples, a situation example. I want, like, if you haven't started yet, and if you feel like you're ready, I want you guys to start getting out there and start going on dates. So you can also bring back material so I can kind of help you through it, and what you're doing just in your day-to-day basis in dating life or whatever, wherever you are. Okay. So let's start with today's topic, basically. And hello, Omar, nice to see you.
Hi, hello.
Uh, so let's start with today's topic. I know I think two of you did your River of Life exercise, which is great. And I wanted to kind of preface the call and just really see a little bit, give you some details really about the River of Life exercise, just in general, and what that looks like. And I think it's really important to understand that the River of Life exercise also is really big in kind of getting you to reflect on your life, what you've been through, acknowledging what you've overcome. Because many times we get so stuck in life at saying like, okay, on to the next one. Okay, this happened to me, but whatever, like it's over. And we kind of put it in a compartment and we let it in and we let it lock. And a lot of times we want to lock it, especially if it's not great memories, but also from the not so great memories, we have positive influences in our life that shape us to be who we are today, and kind of these things can be used as a reflection about like who we are today and how maybe we can become better, or we can see that we are good enough. You know what I mean? And so the reason why I love to do this River of Life exercise is because of the fact that it also shows you how to use vulnerability in your favor. Like, I love this exercise and I love doing it, and you guys are going to see it today. Hopefully, let me ask Steve, did you want to present your River of Life with me today?
Yeah, I could present it. I sent pictures of it because it was a little, what's the word I want to use? I tried to condense it. It's a little,
No, it's perfect. It's great.
oh, as long as that's what it's supposed to look like,
It's not, here, that's the thing, is the River of Life exercise is not supposed to look like something's particular. It's really
Okay.
about your imagination, and it's your river. You see what I mean? So it's really just about like how you built it, because when I did mine looked like absolute crap. Okay, when I did mine. Okay, so it's funny because my coach, he actually is he actually is a coach that helped me and still does. We talk every once in a while with like mindset and empowerment and stuff like this when I was always coaching a lot and still am. And we keep in touch a lot of times. And he had me do the River of Life exercise. And I remember just was like, I presented it to him and I'm like, I'm not an artist. Don't get me wrong. So don't judge me. And he started laughing, right? And it's true. It's because like the River of Life exercise is not meant to be pretty. Okay. It's not meant to be this like great painting of a river and all these colors.
I was just hoping that anybody could still read it. I was like, I can barely read this. Is she even gonna be able to make out what's on here?
It's only about you. It's only if you can read it, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I want you to remember. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, okay, so 1 second. I am going to pull up. I'm not going to pull up your thing. I just want you to, actually,
Sure.
I will. Hold on, let me see. Okay, let me pull up yours. So I can just I'm just not going to show, because the guys are not going to be able to see your writing, but I think
Yeah.
it's good for them to see what it might look like when they do theirs. And I have another guy who wants to present in Newton. He said he's going to try to make the phone calls because it's in the middle of his workday today, but he
Okay.
wants to present. And so if he comes on, I might have him jump in too. Hold on. They changed Zoom, didn't they? Is your guys' bottom thing different?
It's well, you're at the top and then everyone else is at the bottom. I guess basically you can always adjust the view. So there's multi-speaker right now, but everyone has the ability to change their view.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because all the buttons look different. I'm just trying to see how to share. Hold on, my screen.
Yeah, there was an update. Yeah, so
yeah, the
you
share
would be
button
seeing-
is at the bottom.
Yeah,
It's
the share button, and then I have to click it, not the arrow. I have to click the. Okay, I'm okay, guys. I'm okay.
yeah, it's all
I'm
good.
tech savvy. Okay, I'm tech. I
You're
give
good.
you I'm a C minus. Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right, so this is just an example of Steve's River of Life exercise, gentlemen. So this is his river. He drawed it out. It's a couple pages, obviously zoomed in. It's the same page zoomed in, so on and so. So if you use 5,000 pages or 500 or 5 pages, I really don't care as long as we get your point across, okay? So this was his. I wonder if I can find my River of Life exercise. Hold on, let me try to see. Let's see. No, that's not it. I should try to find it. I'm going to find it in my emails, my coaching emails with my coach. I'm going to try to find it. Yeah, my coach, he is pretty amazing. His name is Leonard Wheeler. He's actually the co-executive. He is actually, sorry, the co-executive director of the NFL. So he's pretty like really big on mindset, you know? And I help him with his NFL players for dating relationships and speaking to them about women. Um, so he's huge on mindset. So he actually does this practice with the players. Okay. So, and he actually uses it. I forgot, this is what's really important, keynote, to tell you about this too, is the reason why he uses this. And I talked about it with him, is he brought it to me for mindset and kind of like something I was going through in the moment. And he thought this was the best thing for him, for me in the moment. And I was like, wow, this would be great after I did it for my guys, to show them how to share vulnerability about their lives. And he was like, whoa, you're like, this is 1000%. I agree. And the reason why he does it with his players is because of the fact that he wants to have them be reminded of why they are here. Because typically, he said, when players get to a certain point in their career, sometimes they can self-sabotage, sometimes they forget where they've come from, sometimes they need it for encouragement for their games, stuff like this. So this is a big practice that he actually does with the NFL players, okay? So we are actually doing something that they do, same way, but just different articulation of how practice of how I would do it in dating and relationship. But this is something that you can use for motivation and confidence and kind of reminding yourself what you've been through. Okay. So I'll show you my river of life exercise when I can find it one day. But let's dive into yours, Steve. So first of all, thanks for sharing yours today. I want you to just walk me through your river of life and talk to me about it. I'm going to ask you maybe some questions. If I do, sorry if I interrupt you, but I'll just ask you some questions. But all I want you to do is kind of walk me through who you are in your life.
So who I am, this river of life, it has a lot of ups and downs. I think the main theme that I had from this river of life is there was a lot of loss and isolation. When I was young, it was a very stable. My early years were very, in the beginning, it was very stable. I was with my mom's side of the family. I had my dad. My sister was just born, and then there's a lot of change. So my mom passed due to a heart condition after she gave birth to my sister. And then from there, things kind of plunged because in the turbulence, my dad had actually decided to move from New York, where we lived, back to his mother's house, to my grandmother. But when he did, he kind of dropped us off and he left. So at the age of 5, I was in a very turbulent place. Now, the background history of that is when my dad had a particular way that he operated around boys. My sister was the only girl he ever had. So he didn't know how to deal with girls. And he particularly was very defensive around his boys. So he always protected me from them, from my aunts and my grandmother. And because of that, there was a lot of resentment that was built, not really towards my father, not really towards me, but towards my father. Right. But I got the brunt end of it. So when I was left there, they pretty much just made sure that I ate, and that basically that, I had my shower or whatever they did. But for the most part, emotionally, they were not there. So I kind of grew up in this environment and I didn't really have any emotional support. My mom passed, so I spent the majority of the time in a room staring at the window, wondering when my father was going to come back. So I was in this place where I did not have security. So the first portion of the first half of my river at that time was pretty turbulent. And then my father comes back one day after a couple months and grabs me. We go to New Jersey. And that's when I meet my dad. Moved on and got himself a girlfriend. And at that time,
He
know,
took all of your siblings, or just you?
just me. He left my sister behind at the time. He took me with him, and I went and I was living with this girlfriend at the time. I was living with him, but he'd go off to work and leave me alone with her. So there were times like I'd wake up and I'd wonder where he went, and that sense of security was gone. But at the time, I wasn't too safe with her. There were some moments that didn't make me feel safe. There were times I wandered into a room wondering if he was there, and she'd ask me to climb into the bed with her.
Mm.
And these were periods where I wasn't, and I was like 5, 6 years old. I didn't know how to talk to anyone. So, and I was living with somebody, I guess her brother's daughter, which, was basically, I was told like that was more or less my cousin.
Mhm.
My real cousin on my mom's side was seeing me for a while and then afterwards stopped or was told to stop coming. So as you can see, like I had no real security. And then here I have this woman that's like asking me to, every once in a while come sleep. And then at the same time, she's beating the life out of her brother's kid in front of me. So even though she never touched me, I saw a lot.
Yeah, and you felt it intuitively. You didn't feel safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I call this like it's kind of called the river of loss, the river of turbulence, because there's a lot of turbulence during that time. And then my dad broke up with her and then he moved back with my grandmother's. And at that time, yeah, I pretty much just ended that. But there was still, I grew up in an environment where I did not really have much communication with the women in the home. Um,
Mhm.
and every time I came out, it was kind of either glared at or yelled at or told to go back to my room. So I spent a long time isolated. When I got older, I was enrolled in school. I was a little bit behind, so I was on an IEP for a while. Growing up in a Haitian, a Caribbean household, when somebody approaches you and says, "Hey, your child might, suffer from certain things,"
Yeah, it's not
it,
taken well.
yeah, they take it as a form of embarrassment. So everyone wants to pretend that nothing's wrong.
Yep.
Well, and the way it was painted is like, hey, if we send Steve here, he'll get additional help. Okay, yeah, that's great, as long as he passes school. Because back then, the most important thing was to go to school, graduate, go get a job, and be like your brothers. Oh. um, then I didn't really know my brothers. They appeared much later. So, I had kind of like the traditional kids life with bikes and video games, but I didn't really have any friends. Um, I met my best friend, one day at the window of his house. So that's like picture somewhere down here where you see a fax, it's like best friend Lewis. And then I
The
found,
little tent thing?
yeah, the
Okay.
second.
I love it.
My art skills used to be something back in the day.
But I don't see anything about football, or you're getting to that.
Oh, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Football comes much later, but he was my
Okay.
best friend for a while.
Oh, I see the tent. Okay, there was a couple. Okay, okay, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so, then my brother appeared. Well, he didn't appear. He was always around, but I never knew who he was. He knew me, but I never knew him because we have different mothers.
Mhm.
So my brother kind of tried to take me under his wing, used to take me to his basketball games.
How many years difference was he?
Actually, he's 48. We're like 7 years apart.
Okay, okay.
So he used to take me to his basketball games, and I was doing the regular thing, school. I had my brother who was visiting my dad, but even that was kind of segregated, so I wasn't allowed to talk to my brother until
Mm,
all the women went upstairs. If I went into the kitchen while my grandmother and aunts were there, I was getting yelled at.
yeah.
I had to wait to eat, and I had to wait, or I had to sit there, eat, be quiet, and then I had to go to my room. I was not allowed to really talk or join in a conversation
And
with.
were your other siblings allowed to do it though?
Well, it was interesting. So like my sister, when when they brought her downstairs, every time they had a guest, they brought my sister downstairs. They made sure she was well dressed and she was well presented. So among the family that didn't live with us every day, my sister was kind of well known, you know. But if I came out of my room, I wasn't told to get dressed or get ready. Sometimes I just didn't know any better. I'd come out and whatever I was wearing, and I'd be told to get back in my room, like get out of here. You know what I mean? So the only time that people really had an opportunity, like my brothers, who were pretty much the only two that visited me, or that actually talked to me at the time, the only time I was allowed to talk to them is after everyone was gone.
Got it.
So I didn't understand what that was. I knew it was isolating. I didn't know the word for it at the time, but I felt it. And so at that, at some point, Lewis actually, my best friend died of cancer. He caught cancer, died a few years later. I was 12, 13. And then I experienced kind of the same thing where because of his death, the kids of the neighborhood that we used to hang out with all the time, they all moved because they couldn't take being in the same place or being around the same area where somebody that was so valuable died to them. So I was kind of alone. And now the kids, that street became empty.
Wow.
So I spent a lot of time. That's where basketball came in. And now, remember my brother playing basketball. I said, you know what? I'm going to be a basketball player. I'm going to get in a high school team like my brother is. And I want to be, and I want to be like him because, I wanted something, I needed, I wanted to be like my brother. You know what I mean? I wanted to be popular and proud. And I'm like, yeah, he probably has lots of friends and girls and all that stuff. 12, 13, that's what I was thinking. It's like, I'll be on the basketball team. And then, I'm in between that time. I met some good friends. Some of them were, a couple of them were lifetime friends, still friends to this day. And then, there are fights at home and fights at school over, the house that we lived in, between particularly some issues between my aunt and my father that I was kind of ensnared in. My house was divided. So both my aunts and my grandmother, for particular reasons, resentment was divided. So that resentment was towards my dad, but I got the brunt end of it. Because, so for example, if I went to school and I was wearing pants, like no one said, someone would be quick to point out like, oh, these pants are dirty, you're dirty. But no one would help me pick out any clothes to wear. My birthday's gifts never fit. So I get jeans that I could never put on and take them back, and I'd never see another pair of jeans again. So basically I went through that. Bullying at school. I got bullied by girls mostly. Guys are kind of just on the side, but it was particular because I wasn't dressed very well. So that was between then, there was a lot of that through elementary school, and then I hit high school. And that kind of ends I hit high school. Then I went through high school. High school wasn't too bad. High school is where the football started. That's what I used to basically as a way to, I guess, push whatever I was feeling.
Yeah.
To kind of take out some steam in terms of whatever I was feeling. What all these things that happened over the years that I didn't understand.
Exactly.
That just made me feel a certain way. So I went through that, and then I got into college. And I kind of became more aware as I started to interact with others. But it wasn't, my time in college wasn't really like nothing big happened that affected me any different. There weren't any huge changes in college. I kind of went through it, and I graduated. And then in between that time, I saw my brother again at my first girlfriend. and it was late because I was like, I was kind of a late bloomer. I was 24, 24, 25. But at that time, that was someone, it was a pretty toxic relationship. I I became aware that I had actually overcompensated to keep her around
Mm.
because I was so into her. And I thought that by doing nice things, it would keep her around. By buying nice things, it would keep her around. I had a job, but like, I wasn't managing anything. And, at that time, my parents could see it, but irregardless, they never wanted to meet her. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, like my brothers were bringing in their girlfriends and their people, and they would be held to a certain regard. So kind of, I felt excluded.
Mm.
And so it was just another, so um, that relationship was toxic. There was a point where, I actually started seeking therapy
Okay.
because I was trying to figure out why I was starting to break down. And, you know, through the therapy, I actually broke up with my girlfriend. I
Mm.
lost a ton of weight. So that's like from the teenage years into the last part. I lost a ton of weight. I reignited with my brother. I got my first job in IT. Everything was kind of like on an uphill, whereas where I started up top and then it kind of dimmed a bit because I noticed that my manager was kind of a bully.
Was a bully. Okay. Hmm.
She was a bully. Um, she used to pull us into offices and tell us how much we sucked.
Wow. Interesting.
We
Okay.
had full meetings, half an hour. I remember it was a guy that, there was another guy she hired because we were basically understaffed and we could not keep up with the workload coming in. And we were spending like 10 to 12 hours working. So I'd come in at 6 and I'd leave at like 8 o'clock at night,
Oof.
get home at 9. And it was continuing like 5 days a week for weeks.
Wow.
And it became the regular thing. And her thing was like, your job, this is not a job at McDonald's. Like, I get that McDonald's actually has a start and an end to their work time.
Yeah.
And she was bullying both of us, and she was putting a lot of emotional damage on us. In the meantime, she was hiring people, and those folks that I was training were getting promoted and moved on, and I was being left behind. So it did a number on my self-esteem. But within all that, I still managed to earn her respect because no matter what the problem was, it came back to I actually ended up being the person to resolve it. So every time somebody she put ahead of me um, had an issue that she gave them, they came to me. So I'm
Mm.
like, ultimately, I'm kind of doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. You're being the manager.
You know what I mean? So like in my head, I'm like, why am I not getting what they're getting? And why am I not getting in other places? But work through that, and in that time I was taking care of my body. I actually lost over 70 pounds. Um, you know, got into a new relationship. But I started to learn when you jump into relationships, your relationships kind of reflect where your mind is. And when your mind is jumbled up, you attract the same type of people.
Mhm.
Because that relationship is marks of just a lot of unhappiness. So it was a lot of turbulence and jumbulence, and I said jumbulence. It's just there were a lot of things that I was doing that I didn't need to do.
Yeah.
It was kind of the same story of overcompensating and putting myself in a place that I didn't need to be in. And ultimately, that person broke up with me anyway. For all that, it ended up going nowhere. So, there was a point where, I was, back in this space of loneliness and wondering like what happens with life now. But, I managed to pick myself up on my feet. I got back in shape. At my work after years of being overlooked. Someone stuck up for me, and then eventually got promoted. You know, I purchased my home. I purchased a multifamily, and you know, at 40 years, I went to Dubai, and you know, that kind of sends it up. So, you know, this river that I'm currently still in, is I call this the river of identity and discovery.
Oh, I love that. Good job. Thank you so much for sharing. Round
No
of
problem.
applause for you because I know it's not easy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like I know you now. Like I just know, you know, your reasons. I know why you're like this. I know when we talk about some of your struggles, where they come from. So the reason why I say this just to start, gentlemen, is because this is going to excel your coaching with me too. This is something I do with private clients as well when we do like personal coaching, to kind of get into the roots. So I understand like maybe why they have a hard time talking to women, right? Why they lose their voice sometimes when talking to women, right? Or why they are too nice, or why you may choose the wrong woman, as a couple of examples. So I think that this goes hand in hand with coaching. So definitely it'll help us in our one-on-one coaching now. It'll help us a lot more with like when I see your mock dates and what we need to work on. So kudos to you, Steve, for doing this because it's going to amplify your process. Perfect. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
It was great. Like your River of Life exercise really showed me a lot about how you are able to really be your own supporter and the best times that you need to be. And I think a lot of times that I've seen in my experience, and it's unfortunate when we grow up as children, we don't have our basic needs met, which a bunch of the basic need is an emotional need, right? Like that is a basic need that a child needs. When we say basic, and it's a big need because it is something that a child needs. And when we lack that, what I've seen many times is we become our own supporters. And then we also not only become our own supporters, but we also get on our own ways a lot of times because of the fact that we lack the direction that we once were supposed to have when we were growing up. And so you're here now, and that's what you're going to start to be receiving. That's what you're going to start molding into. And now that I have so many understandings of you, there's going to be a lot more activities and things I can hand to you personally that's going to help you with amplifying your voice, understanding boundaries in a relationship, and people, not even a relationship, people in general. But, you know, I think also too, you know, I commend you because you suffered two big losses in your life at a young age. And I think, you know, as a child myself that grew up around death a lot, when I was growing up, I saw a lot of death, and it's unfortunate, but it's life too. Um, it kind of made me just really understand just life.
Hmm.
You know, like I was really scared of death growing up because I saw it so much. But then as I grew a little bit older, it's kind of become like a neutral for me, you know?
Hmm.
And, you know, I think it's really important for you to also understand in your life, like you've been through so many things in your life, but also like you were your biggest supporter. And I feel as though like after from where you've come from and where you are now, you could have gone in two different directions and you chose the right one. And so I want you to see that, and I want you to start embracing that more within yourself, within your language, within your dialogue when someone asks you something on a date, right? So I want to shoot this and show the gentleman a little bit of how we can have vulnerability in relationships and talks with women in our life, okay? So now that everybody heard his stories, heard a couple things that he's been through in life, I want to kind of give you examples, and me and you are going to talk, okay, Steve? And I'm going to kind of maybe, depending on how it goes, be you, or I'm just going to give you I'm going to stop and I'm going to give you advice on how to kind of direct the conversation so you can kind of understand how to show vulnerability. Now, one of the things I always say, there's two clauses, call them clauses of vulnerability. Number one is I wouldn't be as vulnerable to a woman right off the bat, right? Like it's really important to understand like the deepness of vulnerability depending on the deepness of your relationship. So for example, if you're on a first date with a woman and you want to share your deepest, darkest secrets and everything you've been through in life, probably not. But if you want to share one thing you've been through in life, I think this is where we need to be, because you also have to see how they receive that, okay? I think the biggest thing about bearing vulnerability is not, I forget this quote by Brené Brown. Oh, do they earn the right to my story? That's really powerful. So whenever you're on dates, I really want you to understand, like, do they earn the right to my story? Okay, so this is for dates, this is for friendship, this is for anybody. And this is what's going to help you kind of be cautious about the people that you let into your life too. And so it's something that I do myself in general with just people is I'll share something about me and in my friendships every once in a while. And if they end up using it against me or they kind of put it to a negative light, I know those aren't my friends. And usually you'll see that in pretty, or it's not my person, let's just say. You'll see that in a pretty early on. Especially when like me and my husband started dating, I would tell him things. He would put it in the vault. He would put it in the vault. And then when we got into an argument, he'd never throw in my face, well, maybe it's because you had daddy issues. Like you never did something like this. It was my safe place. He was my home. My nervous system felt neutral. And the only way that you can gauge if your nervous system, if someone is your home, is by opening up little by little to them. So ask yourself, does this person earn the right to my story? Now, on the second notion of vulnerability, it's really important to understand that vulnerability is not to be shared to share your problems and ask them to fix it because there hasn't been a resolution. Whenever we share vulnerability, we also want to swing it with a positive of what you've learned or overcome or overcoming from it. Okay? It's not to darken the mood and make them feel bad when you share stories. Now, when life comes up and we have no control of life and things come up and something happened to your house and God forbid something happened to the roof and you call them like, oh my God, the roof, and this happened, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's normal. That's life stuff. This is not vulnerability. This is just shit that happens to us and it's a bad day, you know? But what we're talking about is that. And now the topping of these two things. The reason, gentlemen, listen up, because a lot of you struggle with this that are here. The reason why this is so important is because emotional connection is what is lacking for most of you to get sustainable results. Okay. And so this is what makes women feel something, is because she can connect, she can see, she's like, wow, this feels different. You've given her an experience. Okay. Remember the magic carpet ride, Aladdin, which I talk about a lot in here. The magic carpet ride does not go straight. Okay. The magic carpet is like everywhere. This is emotional conversations. This is joking, banter, flirting, emotional conversations, vulnerability, connection, logical attraction, whatever. We're doing so many different things. Now we're in an experience, we're on a ride. But this is just logical attraction. Or it could be just banter and be like, this guy is just really a college frat boy. I don't know what's going on, which has happened. So you want to make sure like you are having experiences for yourself. So then the woman can ride on the magic carpet ride with you and you see the destination basically. Okay. All right. So Steve, I just want to kind of have a conversation with you and I want you to kind of share what maybe I'm going to try to lead you to those conversations a little bit about your life. And I want you to see how you share it first. There's no wrong or right way. I'll help you, but I want to give you a practice of like how we would show vulnerability. Obviously, if we're on a real date, we're not going to be doing hit rounds like this of just so much vulnerability. I'm just kind of sharing like how it would go. Okay.
Okay.
So we're on a date and I ask you a question. So do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have two brothers and a little sister. We all have different mothers. I guess my dad liked to spread his, he took the expression spread his seed and he acted on it.
Yeah.
Different moms. But I'm very close to them, even though we don't, live near each other. And whenever we do see each other, it's just as if we saw each other yesterday.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I can relate. I have half siblings as well. My father was a loose goose and he liked to spread his seeds everywhere too. So basically, I have two half sisters and a half brother, but my sisters and I are like this, like we're inseparable. My brother, he's a little brother. He, the boys, they're into their Nintendo games. Maybe he'll come along, whatever. But
Yeah.
being raised with three sisters is probably really hard as a young boy. But yeah, I totally can relate to that. I just did not have a good relationship with my father, and my sisters, when we grew up, like there was years that I wasn't part of their life, and that's what really hurt, and that's why we're so close now.
Wow. Yeah, I can
I want you to hold that thought. Gentlemen, what I just did, I'm on a date too, I'm doing the same thing. I just gave him a version of vulnerability. I just gave him a peek into what my life was. Okay. I just shared something about myself that was vulnerable, just a peek of it to see what he was going to do with it. Okay. I don't know if you caught that. We'll continue going. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I can relate. My brothers and I were not always part of each other's lives. Um because of their relationships with their father. We weren't always part of each other's lives. We knew about each other. And then there were times where we were actually together. But the great thing is that you know to this day, like your sisters, the fact that you're close now behind that is after all that is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
it feels like we're winning, we're the winners now, kind of thing.
exactly. And now I've learned, and I'm sure you've learned how important it is how important family is and how important it is to always always be able to have your siblings and to kind of foster environments where regardless of what happens, your siblings always stay connected, that your family
Yeah.
stays connected.
Yeah, for sure. We're really close. Yeah. Great job. So I think that's like a really good way to open up about like you, and then you spoke it kind of in a positive. That's a great first date type of style of vulnerability. Okay. You see how we didn't go too deep, gentlemen, but we still connected on something. And the reason why we connected is because it was kind of similar, the both of us. And what my story is it is real, what I just told him. So I think it's really important for you guys to kind of see that, because that is where you're going to start connecting, right? And then from that conversation, maybe it alludes to something else a little bit more deeper, or more you go back into surface, or you share humor, whatever. That's where you're kind of breaking up the conversations a little bit. And it's not just about, oh yeah, I like this food too. Have you ever been to Paris? And you see what I mean? Like, you're on a date for a reason, because you're trying to figure out who this person is and if this person is someone that you can see potential with in your life. And the only way we're going to get to know that is if we get to know people on a deeper level. And also women, especially high quality women that are ready for something more long-term, are women. It's not that those women are out there saying consciously, I'm looking for a guy that's vulnerable with me. That's not what they're saying. Half the women don't even know what it is that they're looking for. It's just a feeling. And as a woman in the dating space for a long time, I know the feeling, and I can just tell you guys about it. Many women can't spot it. Okay. So this is the feeling of what is creating, is what you can co-create with her. So let's go on to more of a deeper level. So I just kind of want you to follow me. Maybe we're on a fourth or fifth date. We've kissed, and we've kind of really we've kind of showed that we like each other, but it's still kind of new, right? So we're on our fifth date. We've texted before, we've kissed on our second date, whatever. Okay. And you know a little bit more about me. Okay. So, and I know a little bit more about you. So since you did the River of Life exercise, I'm going to open it up with a question about you, and then let's see where it takes us. Okay. Let me just think of a question. Hold on. Oh yeah. Or I'm going to share something and I'm going to see how you pick it up. And I don't really want you guys to think it's always dark, okay? Because this is kind of dark where I'm going, but I don't want you guys to always think it's dark, because I'm going to give you guys a couple other examples too, okay? I have a question. Do you believe in ghosts?
You know what? I believe that there are different um I want to call them extraterrestrial. I believe there are different spirits
Yes
out.
or no question. Do you believe in ghosts?
I know. Yes, I do believe in ghosts. I do believe that there are spirits out there. I've had an experience.
Really? You've had an experience? Me too. What was your experience?
So my dad told me this story a long time ago. In Haiti, where I'm from, some people practice the magic of voodoo. It's seldom. Most people think that's all we're all about. Actually, a lot of Haitians are Christian. It's
Yeah.
just there are groups of people that practice voodoo. So I guess one day my father went to Haiti and he had an argument with someone. They had a disagreement, and that person went to a witch doctor, and they told him, and they basically put a curse on him.
No.
So my father he was telling me he was having these crazy dreams where he was being visited by some sort of apparition that was causing all sorts of craziness within his mind in his dreams. In the meantime, I was telling my father after my mom died, when I was in my aunt's house, when I was asleep, for whatever reason, I felt like I was being pressed down in my dreams. I could not actually wake up. Like I started to freak out. I couldn't wake up, and it was almost as if something was keeping me. So when I was telling him that, he asked me, well, when did this start happening? And I told him around the time period that I thought it did. He's like, that's strange. I was still having those dreams. And then he told me one day, the apparition said, well, your God has saved you. So I can't keep doing this anymore. And he left. And I know from that time, I stopped having those dreams and I was able to wake up soundly.
Oh, wow. I totally believe in that stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm so sorry then to hear that your mom died. What age were you when your mom passed away, if you don't mind me asking? Just be here with me, Steve.
Okay. I was 5 when she passed on. It was Yeah, I was 5 years old. It was around the end of the year. That was a turbulent period, but you know, um, I had some great memories of my mom. Interestingly enough, you're not supposed to remember a lot at that age because it's 5.
Yeah.
But I do remember some images of like going to the park. Also, I used to remember her yelling at me lovingly because I used to pick my scabs.
Aw. Every child
All
does
right.
that.
So, these things do happen, but I was blessed to have some images. It wasn't like she was a complete stranger. Um, I was blessed to have some of those memories.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful. I'm glad that you had those memories, and I also know that you probably cherish those memories. I know it would probably be really hard. I'm super close to my mom, so I couldn't imagine, like, I can't even talk about it. Like, that's like a thing for me, but also I've
Yeah,
had her for 30 years, I don't want to give away my age, but
that's okay.
yeah.
It's amazing. I think that having your mother around is essential. There was a saying that somebody had said to me, your mom is where your confidence and nurturing comes from, and your dad show you who you are.
Yep, and the structure. Yep,
And
the
the structure.
structure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking if you believed in ghosts before because I totally believe in ghosts. Like I've seen them. My sister
Really?
actually thinks I'm crazy. Like she doesn't like me to talk about it at all, and she thinks I'm a lunatic because of it. So like I don't see ghosts like if I'm like in my room or something. It's not like this, it's not like I'm like clairvoyant, they would say, right? But I've typically gotten, like, when my father passed, he came in through a dream. When my grandfather passed, he came to me through a dream and spoke to me and like basically give me messages to do something with life. Or for example, like my grandfather came into my dream, and it was in a time where I really wanted to find a husband, and he basically said, like, move to this apartment, because I was battling with something, and I was praying and praying and praying, and I didn't know if I should leave my mom in Miami, because she just moved down here for me, and or go back to my own apartment in Miami. And a client of mine, when I was in banking, actually reached out to me and was like, I'll give you the best price for my apartment. We love you. We want you to be in our apartment. We'll renovate the whole studio for you. And it was overlooking the water on the city. It was the best apartment ever. It had a little studio. And I still was like, I'm not too sure if I should take this because I don't want to leave my mom. And I just got a big promotion at my job. I got like a $40,000 salary yearly increase in my job.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it was a pretty great time in my life, but also like I had just lost my grandfather. So it was just kind of, I was at a place in my life also too back then where I was kind of like over drinking. So I moved back to my mom, and I was just wanting to heal. I was in my healing phase, let's put it. And like, I was scared. I didn't want to go back to old habits. And then I slept that night, and my grandfather said, go to your apartment, because something me and my grandfather always talked about. I was like, I always wanted you to walk me down the aisle. Please stay alive to walk me down the aisle. And I get emotional talking about it, because he would always respond and say, don't bet on it. It's like he knew he wasn't going to be there intuitively. And he came into my dream and he said, because I was never able to walk you down your aisle, I'm able to do something better. Move to that apartment and I will bring you the love of your life.
Wow.
And he brought me the love of my life. And if I never moved to that apartment, I would have never met my husband now. Well, obviously we're not on a date, but you know what I mean? I would have never met my brother now. I don't know. But yeah, so I think it's really cool, because also my mom, when I was young, and I noticed I had this like power, I guess, because when I was young, my mom's best friend, her name was Carmen, passed away of cancer, and we were really close. I was really close to her. And so she was really involved in my life. And my mom, I saw her really sad. And my mom was the one that found her when she passed. And so I remember as a young girl, like, I'm happy my mom did this, but she made me go afterwards so she can see, so I can see as a young girl what death looked like. And to her, like a lot of people, this sounds crazy. You want to avoid this. And in my mom's eyes, she said, I don't want my child to avoid death, because this is part of life. So she needs to see it, especially with someone she loves, because I'm always going to have the what if, she thought. So I saw her. And it was honestly didn't do harm to me. I think I took it good. And one Christmas years ago, I missed her. And I was like, I just wish I can hug you right now. And I just heard a voice is like, do you want to see me? And I was like, yes. And she came out of the Christmas tree. And I was like, yeah, like giving me a hug. And I ran to the stairs because I freaked out. That was the first time I ever saw ghosts. I know it sounds crazy, but it's so true.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about my ghost story. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Okay, gentlemen, like I want you to see something. This is something that lights me. I know it's crazy to hear, but I love talking about this stuff. I don't know if you saw it in my energy, and I'm having fun, right? This is where you kind of want to stay with me on like, this is where I'm feeling like this date is awesome. I'm having a connection, right? But also I want you to see how, you know, Steve, what you did is you shared about your mother's death in a scenario, but brought it into a positive light. What you know, this is why vulnerability is so important, gentlemen, because in the comment section that I put right here is vulnerability also is going to give you the trajectory. I can't pronounce it right, but you guys get it. Trajectory to kind of know if this woman is the woman that has a good EQ, picks up on your emotions, is nurturing. Because if you just said that your mother died and then she's never heard this before, and then she's like, oh, okay, wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. And she goes on to a next topic, yellow flag, mental note. Because you're the chooser. This is what I mean by men have to step out of the space of let me get her to like me. Because if you're in the mindset of let me get her to like me, you will never catch on to that. Right? Do you guys see where I'm getting? Please tell me yes or no.
Yes, absolutely.
Someone besides Steve.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay, good.
It makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks, Omar. So one of the things here is vulnerability is also gauging you guys to make better decisions. You see what I mean? You know how they have this whole shit test thing for women? Well, you're character gauging a woman at this point too. We can call it shit test, okay? But it's not. Right? Now, you're character gauging a woman. Now, what happens is you are in control of your dating life. Now you've stepped into high quality man vibe. Okay. Then what happens is, I don't know if after that you saw, but we kind of, Steve, not kind of, but he brought it in a positive light. If his mom dying, he shared memories of her that made me smile, that made me laugh. And then also there was humor that was involved. You see how I cracked a joke, or he cracked a joke, one of us did right afterwards. You see what I mean? That is the magic carpet ride.
Okay.
This is really powerful. So you guys have to watch this replay so you see it. Okay. This is exactly what I mean on the dates. And this is why everybody needs to do this River of Life exercise, so I can do these back and forth with you so you can understand it a little bit more. And then when we go on dates now, because I did it with Bayo, did the River of Life exercise. Obviously he's XL now, he's in a relationship. Okay. And he's happy. But I was able on the mock dates to kind of show him, because I knew his life. I knew who he was now. He did the River of Life for me. So I was able to kind of handhold him a little bit more and give him the ideas of what vulnerability looks like, what emotional connection looks like. So gentlemen, please do the River of Life exercise. This is one of the most important things, okay? Next is understanding like what your values are. Like, what are your non-negotiables, gentlemen? Okay, so since I've been with Steve, I want to ask Steve and Nick this question. Nick L and regular Nick without the last name on the screen. We're just going to say Nick L and regular Nick, okay? And Steve, okay? I want to know your 3 values, like your non-negotiables, okay? Let's start with Steve, since Steve, I've had you on the, I've been back and forth with you a little bit more. Let's start with you, and then we'll close it out, and I'm going to go to Nick L second. Tell me your 3 non-negotiable values.
Okay. Based on my experience, my 3 non-negotiable values are loyalty is one. I believe strongly in that. Support is another. You know, I believe, you know, I like to put in 100% of what I'm getting. Maybe I might not, you know, not everybody can put in 100%, but I'd like to know that somebody's just as invested in a relationship as I am.
Okay.
So that's 2. 3,
Okay, so we got to brush up on your values. This is something
Yeah.
I want you to know, because this is also part of your value statement. And the reason why I want you to do this is because the part of this is understanding that when you know your values, you know what you're looking for with a woman. So if you know you want support, and she just avoided that your mother passed away in a whole sentence, and that's the first time you sold her, she's not going to be a supportive woman, probably.
right.
Keep that in the back burner. Or maybe she's like, oh, wait, did you just tell me you lost your mother like a second ago? It didn't register, and I just felt bad bringing it up, but I just don't want you to think I was avoiding it. But I also don't know if you wanted to talk about it or felt comfortable. Perfect. Great. She showed support. She'll bring that up later. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
So this is where you having clarity about your values is very important in what they mean to you, because it's going to give you direction when you date a woman. Because what happens when men don't know their values and what they're looking for, what they get addicted to is chemistry and the beauty and the sex of a woman. And that's what you get fixated on, and that's what makes you think that you're the one. I mean, that she's the one. But when a man, the difference between a high quality man is not that he doesn't date beautiful women, absolutely not. But he doesn't let her beauty dictate his decision to be with him. What he lets dictate his decision is the compatibility part, the values, how she shows up, how he feels around her. Okay, and the same thing goes vice versa.
Okay.
So, and next week, gentlemen, this is going to go hand in hand. We're going to do flirting. Okay, so we're going to practice flirting, bantering, stuff like this. So this is going to go hand in hand with your dating, and then we're going to do mock dates. Okay, and I'm going to see where we're at, and we're going to use this. So I want you, Steve, now for our mock dates, I want you to practice your value statement.
Okay.
Okay, and if you have any questions, reach out to me in the DM about your values, okay? Values, again, gentlemen, values aren't something that you direct and dictate out of your mouth and you say, it's just something you know and it's inherited in yourself that will help you articulate things if things don't happen in a relationship or in the dating process. For example, hey, I'm not sure that you are the right one for me. I've had a great time dating you, but you know, I've noticed a couple of things in dating you that is just not aligned with me. And so I don't think this is going to work out. Okay, what are they? Or fuck you. Excuse my French. You know, you're going to get one or the other.
Oh, man.
You guys weren't expecting that one, huh?
Nah.
Some of you guys look like you're getting sleepy, so I need to throw something in there.
I had a question actually about the mock
Yeah.
dates, if it's
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So next week's actually, I'm actually performing in the Boston Salsa Festival with my choreography group.
Nice. Take a video. I want to see it.
Definitely. The thing is, it's going to be intensive for the next few days. So they're requiring me to practice. We only have like literally 4 hours, and those 4 hours are split between days because we perform not this Friday night, but the next Friday night.
Okay.
Is there any way that I know mock dates go at a certain time.
Don't even worry about it. Yeah, because the mock dates, if you miss this one, there's always going to be other ones. We do like 2. I'm trying to do 2 a month now, at least.
Okay, I just want to be able to make sure I catch an opportunity to because I still want to do the mock dates. Sometimes they just land on days where I literally can't.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'll keep that a mental note and I'll reach out to you to make sure it fits in your schedule before we plan the next one or something. If you miss this one, okay?
Sure, I appreciate it.
Of course. Of course. Listen, you've been doing the work. As long as you're doing the work, I will always meet you where you are. And if I have to kind of bend a couple of things, I will.
I
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you
Just
so
tell you
much.
guys that when you guys start the program, if I see you really putting in the work and doing the stuff, I will bend over backwards for you. I mean, Bayo needed me for a whole weekend when he was dating these women and I was on standby texting him, helping him. So, and now look where he is, right? So like, gentlemen, that's all I asked and I'm there for you. Anyways, Nick, tell me what your just three values are.
Which Nick?
Oh, Nick L, I'm so sorry.
Okay, me. My 3 main values would be communication is usually the first one. That's a big one for me. And then support and just trust.
Perfect. How would someone show you like support just in general?
I think support and communication kind of go hand in hand. So if it's something, you know, if it's a topic or if I'm not doing the best emotionally or something like that, just being there and communicating. So that's why I say they go kind of hand in hand. So having that communication and that support line, somebody who is interested in what I'm saying or wants to help.
Awesome. So I have a question. I'm
Mhm.
going to give you a scenario. What if you were dating a woman for like a month or 2, okay, or a month, let's just say month, because 2 might be a little bit much. Let's say you were dating her for about a month and you got into your first little conflict, okay?
Mhm.
And oh, sorry, sometimes I get this pain in my head. It's like, shh. Okay, so let's just say that you were, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Dating this woman for a week, okay? And all of a sudden, like you get in this little conflict and she's like, I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I just don't want to talk about it. In your mind, what now that I just asked you what your values are, in your mind, what do you think should be going through your head at this point?
If they're saying they just want to forget about it and they're obviously upset about it,
It's
is what
whatever.
you're saying?
It's whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't want to talk about it. And let's just pretend like it never happened, right? And it's something that's a conflict between the two of you, right?
Mhm.
So how would you handle that?
I mean, I would try and get them to talk about it. You know, I wouldn't press it because it depends on what it is and what the subject matter is. Because there's a lot of, you know, there's some things are heavier topics than others. But I would try and be that support line that I would want and say, you know, we can talk about it. I can be that person for you. We need to talk about it if it's something you know, if it's something we need to work on together.
Right. And then what if you notice the same pattern and she just avoids when it comes to conflict in general?
I mean, obviously the first time I would try and work it out and see what works, but if it continues, then that's something that would, if it happens every time, then there's obviously a deeper root to that issue that either I can target depending on what it is, or it's not going to change. Just depends.
Right. Good job. Great job. And so how would you communicate that to her?
What if it keeps happening?
Mm.
I would just, bring it up and say, this is something I've noticed, that you don't like to talk about these things or these specific issues. If we can't, there's got to be a way we can work on them. We got to work at it. And if it's not something you want to do, we go from there, but at least try every time to resolve the issue. And then if it keeps happening, just bring it up that it's something I've noticed.
Yeah. Okay, good. So my only point here is I would just add in, just remember like what you have a value, which is communication, right?
Yeah.
And I would just always, if you are, and this happens many times, say, I want to do my best to communicate with you because this is something I need in a relationship. And this is also something that makes us grow into a healthy relationship. But if you're not able to meet me there, I'm not saying that you need to communicate with me all the time, but in things that are like conflict and issues, we can't just shove them under the rug. It won't work.
Mhm.
So if we can't communicate, I'm not too sure if this is going to work for me.
Yeah.
Values are everything to do with you, not doing with her.
Mhm.
And where men find themselves in trouble is they shove it under the rug, they let it be, okay, whatever, and then all of a sudden they get deeper in a relationship and it's harder, right? And so this is where I want you to remember, like, the values are always something that is going to guide you in making a decision with a woman, right? Because, for example, if a woman really wants to try to be with you, the part of leading of men mentality is not to dictate, but it's to lead as an example. So if she wants to be with you and she knows that she needs to be a better communicator, she doesn't need to be the best. She just needs to be a little bit better now.
Yeah.
And because that's what you need, you vocalize that and you've given her direction. And now it's up to her to see what she's going to do with it.
Yeah.
And so it's going to help you make a decision. So you're either going to see a woman say, okay, I know last time we got in an argument, you needed more from me. Can you give me till tomorrow and I can talk to you a little bit more about it? Sure, great.
Mhm.
Now you've noticed she's invested in change. This is a positive sign. Not everybody is perfect. And that's why I'm like, we expect people to be perfect and all healed in relationships. No, sometimes you have to bring that person there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's not that you're coaching them. Okay. You're not their coach. You're
Mhm.
just giving them the book to say, this is what I need. And if not, then it's okay.
Mhm.
And then if she does opposite and the next time you get in a conflict or she's just still giving you silent treatment, this is where you're like, okay, I think we need to take a break before we get a little bit more heavier, because I've been down this road before and I know if this is the way we communicate, it's just not going to work out.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
Values are your compass. Okay. Nick. Regular Nick.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I am really good, thank you.
Oh, good, good. So tell me about your 3 values.
Communication, trust, discipline.
Oh, perfect. Tell me a little bit more about discipline.
If I were to set some sort of a goal or priority, I want to make sure that that I am going to be doing that without any interference, and I would expect her to do the same. If she says that she's
Oh, your Wi-Fi. Hold on. You're breaking up. Let me stop your video. Maybe I can hear you better. Sorry, Nick. Cutting out.
any influence from the outside.
I didn't get it because you were cutting out, Nick. Yeah, the Wi-Fi spotty. So I'm gonna move on. Okay. So, all right, gentlemen. So any questions about anything that you heard from today? Okay. Anybody want to bring up any situations, anything about a woman that they're dating, any one-on-one advice that you guys need at the moment? And then you can either say it to me now or message me in the chat. If there's any topics that you want to see covered from me or anything that you need from me in the program, I want you to message me and let me know as well if there is anything else. Okay, so no one has any one-on-one questions? Steve, you look uncomfortable. You're like,
No,
"Don't say
I'm
anything."
thinking, well, like, what should I say?
Huh?
That I was saying, I'm like, should I wait? Or, so there was I went out on a date a couple of weeks ago. I think I talked
Oh, with the
about it.
woman that you were telling me about. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So at the time I thought that I was doing well. And I thought the date had went well. And sometimes what happens to me is I have a hard time processing things in real time, especially social incidents I find out. So you could say something to me and I could take it as, oh, this means this is great. And then, either it's explained through somebody else that, no, this actually meant this, and it's actually kind of negative. So the reason why I say it this way is because during that time, I realized that this person was not, this person did not value me. And I
To not value what? Sorry.
well, she wasn't interested. She
In
came
you in general.
in general.
Okay.
I want to throw out the words that I got played, but that's more of like I think it's more of like a victim thing to say. Maybe it's a victim mentality type of mindset. So I don't necessarily want to say that. So what it didn't dawn on me that I kept passing over that is okay is that she was actually over an hour late. So she kept changing the time, and it's not till somebody pointed it out, like, hey, you don't live where you were meeting her, you don't really live close. Why did you wait this long? When she showed up, she felt, I guess she said, well, I feel bad, so I want to pay for my portion of the meal. So she gave me, I think she gave me like $20. And I didn't know, I thought it was, and I could be wrong. I thought it was in a sense, maybe, okay, well, she just feels bad. I'll let her do it, because she wants to pay for that portion of the meal. And like I said, I could be wrong. But it was kind of pointed out like, no, the reason why she did that is so that she didn't feel like she had to owe you anything because you went out on this date.
Yeah.
This was just her way of covering herself. And a lot of these things didn't hit me until maybe a day or two after. So I beat myself up for a couple of days over it. I mean, I got over it, but I guess in terms of, my value and, what I should stand for, I could have done better. I could have just said, you know what? If you're this late, you're gonna be over an hour. I'm going home. Or, I just don't think this will work out. If you're this. So the time that she, I sent a call and she didn't pick up. I messaged her that Friday and she didn't respond at all. She finally responded about 3 days after that saying, oh, I'm very sorry. I've been busy. And, I had rentals with my Airbnb and this and that. And,
Can you give me, did you guys text a lot or no?
We didn't text very much.
I want to see your text messages and how you engage with her via text. So send me some screenshots of that.
I don't know if I have them. I actually kind of
Okay.
got.
So would you say that her interest, so what was the issue? So what is the issue that you're feeling like you're facing now?
I think at some point, which I didn't recognize, is that she was testing me. Maybe she was giving me the shit test and I failed. I
What
wasn't.
shit test?
I don't know. I think in the beginning, this is where I got really confused. And I'm sorry, I'm not really being specific because I'm still processing what happened even to this point. This is, kind of why. In the beginning, it seemed like we were okay. I messaged her the day. I have the messages from up until I gave her my number. I have that. That's off the online portion. I just don't have what she texted me on the phone. On the phone, she texted me, "Hey, this is Dominique. How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing well." And then I called her. I actually called her. She picked up. She said, "Hey." I was like, "Hey, I just wanted to take a few minutes and catch up with you. Are you available this weekend?" So right away, I asked her for a date. She said, "Yeah, no, I'm definitely available." This and that. And then we got off the phone. The second time, I sent her, a message, and we had I sent her like a positive quote message, because she had mentioned earlier, like how busy her day was and how crazy her day was. So I sent her a positive quote about making sure she takes time to take care of herself, self-care. And she responded, "Wow, this is amazing." And she hearted it. "You're so amazing." At some point, I told her about my dad's birthday. I think that was very earlier during the call. So on my dad's birthday, she actually texted me and said, "Happy birthday,
Nice.
Dad."
So where do you think that things fell apart and what are you trying to process? So what's the issue though?
Well, I'm trying to process like why she I guess why did things end up the way they did? I thought that we had a good communication up until we met, but then I realized like, she's like over an hour late for the date. And then
Are you
afterwards,
reaching out to her a lot more? Like what interest shines did she show you besides reciprocating from you?
she didn't really show me many interest signs.
That's exactly the question. That's exactly the answer then. So that's what I mean is like, when you're dating, and especially in the first couple of weeks, like anything can happen. I've seen people just be all like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. Let's go on a date, have fun. We kissed, we made out, it was great," and then ghost. And because maybe she was dating someone else, or maybe you were dating someone else, or something happened, or they got scared. Who knows, right? Like anything can happen in the first phase. So we can't think that when we're dating a woman, something's going to come out of it so soon. But also understand that when you're dating in the first stages of dating a woman, you want to initiate, of course, for sure. But you're also testing out her levels into interest, and not in testing. When I say testing out, is how many times does she reach out? How many times does she show interest? How many times does she reciprocate? How many times does she say, "Hey, good morning. How are you? I was just thinking about you. Have a great day." Those are already all positive signs of interest. We want to start looking for positive signs of interest when women are on a date with you. We actually talk about that next week. Let me just put that on a reminder. We'll be talking about positive signs of interest when you're in the beginning stages of dating. Okay, because that goes along with flirting and everything. Just gonna make a note here. And if I ask you, like, what were positive signs of interest that she induced, like that she started? Not that she reciprocated. Reciprocation is a great one, but you also want to look at what she started.
I understand. It's good that you're clearing this up because, I've always gotten this advice that men are supposed to pursue, be pleasantly persistent. Even if they reciprocate, that's fine. Just keep pursuing. But these things happen and it's like, well, I pursued, but then you're right. If they're not being reciprocative, then, they may not have
It's not just reciprocation, because a lot of women will reciprocate. It's the initiation too.
Initiation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But men do have to pursue, especially in the beginning stages. It's just the masculine essence of dating, right? Like that's just what a lot of women expect, and that's okay because I think that it helps you also gauge. Like I think a man that pursues also director of his dating life if he does it right. Because just because you choose to pursue doesn't mean that you'll end up continuing to pursue.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to go over the steps, like the formula, the steps, whatever we want to call it, of like the first interactions, the first things that you should be looking out for when dating. But I think this is why, is because I think she was interested, but there was nothing to create the interest a little bit more on her end too, right? And this can happen. I think like, I don't think that you should beat yourself up for it. I just think that could happen with anybody. And I also just think that this is dating.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, it was it took it didn't take a lot out of me. It was just kind of like, well, I think part of the other half is that I liked her too early. So I actually liked her too much, and I was like, oh, there's something there. She seems to be interested in me, and it was like it wasn't that, and all the signs were there, and
yeah, it's just too early for you to like her that much.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And that's what we need to work on with you too. Okay. That's what we'll be working on a little bit more too. I have to write that down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just too early. And this is why it's really important for you just to continue going on multiple dates as you can, because I want you to start talking to women and just getting used to talking to women, owning your word, being clear with your word, being strong with your word, right? Being impeccable with your word. It's actually in the 4 agreements, right? This is really important, I want you to read up more about that, is being impeccable with your word. Have you read the 4 agreements by any chance?
No.
I want you to read that.
The 4 agreements.
Yeah, the 4 agreements. I want you to read that.
That's in the, is that in the, was that in the beginning? I didn't see.
Oh no, it's a book. It's just a book.
Oh, okay. It's 4 agreements. Okay.
By Miguel Ruiz, I think it is. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Omar.
Didn't say Omar.
Yeah, Omar, he raised his hand, so I'm asking him to speak up. Right. Oh, hold on. Harvey's like, huh? Did you just say Omar? Yeah, sorry, I didn't close it out with Steve.
It's frozen. It's frozen on the computer, so I joined from my phone. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
A little delay, but I see
weird.
you.
Can you kick me on the other one? Are you able to kick the other one out?
Yeah, I can do that now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just gonna, pinpoint what Steve was saying. And I also kind of went through the same thing that he is. Like the one I was talking to who was in Florida, and we connected in the beginning. We talked a lot, all that. It seemed to be going well, and I'm gonna move there. I like Arizona, and you're a nice guy. Every call, it's like, oh, positive, she's always like that. And then I went to LA, I went back, and then you saw the text. And then we came back, you want to meet, and let's have a thing. And she's like, no, we're only friends. And I was kind of like, what did I kind of do? And I kind of see, the point. And that's how it always ends up, being a friend zone. And I think some of the techniques that I'm saying or doing makes it seem that way. There's nothing in terms of having an affection and making them the emotional connection, as you were talking about. But then, yeah, when I would send her something funny, even now, she would like it or laugh about it as a friend. But it's like, is there a way to change that? Or also, if you find somebody else, I'm learning slowly now what to do in terms of, not taking it up. But I have the same problem like Steve. You tend to like them early in the beginning because they're in the same background. They're Bosnian or East European. They have the same religion, same culture. And you're like, okay, that's the one there. That's the person. But you got to kind of slow it down. And I never seem to learn that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are guilty of this, is because I feel like there's so much adrenaline when it comes to dating. But I really want you guys to focus on one thing, and that's called reality versus fantasy. Okay. And this is how you can kind of take control of your emotions when you're dating a woman and you get in your head and you're like this, is what is reality and what is fantasy right now? So fantasy is everything that I'm telling myself that is picturing her to be the perfect woman that I really don't know yet. So for example, great, she has the religion that I do and she has a culture that I do, but does she have the same belief system? Is she a good person? Great. Does that qualify her to be the best woman for me right now? No, it's just a minor qualification because I'm looking for the same religion and the same culture possibly, but that's the minor qualification, but does she practice it as much as I do? I'm not too sure, right? Or, you don't know her too much yet. So we get what I call very excited in the beginning, a lot of times because of the fact that we portray a vision of who she could be and what it's like. And then when she shows you that attention, we kind of get in our head. And here's the thing, it's pretty interesting because men and women both do this. Women do this too. But I think that it's important for you guys to kind of understand when you start dating a woman and you find yourself getting too excited, I want you to go back to the reality versus fantasy practice. And this is what I would do. Get a piece of paper or your notepad or whatever. I was just showing a client this yesterday. But you just do something like this. Like I do it with all of my stuff in my life. It's not reality versus fantasy, but I do it because it's kind of subconscious training. So when they teach us this in coaching certification, but it's about like how your brain works and stuff like this. And part of it is called is training your prefrontal cortex to get into your subconscious. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take a sheet of paper, or you can take your notepad on your phone. I'm trying to find the example I have here in my notepad. But you're just going to put reality and then a line and then fantasy. Okay. And then you're going to write every fantasy thought that there's not based on truth, but something you're telling yourself and making it up to be something more. Okay. And that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to go to reality. See, I do it for everything. Home task, work task, just like this. Home task, work task, right? I do this all the time. And I kind of list everything out so I can see it all. You're going to do the same thing, reality versus fantasy, okay? And you're going to write all the fantasy that you're telling, all the things that are not based off truth that you don't have any proof on, okay? So she would be a great woman. Why? What proof do you have? It's only been a week, right? So reality, I don't know if she's a great woman. I got to find out. That's the reality. That goes in there now, right? And so you start focusing more on reality. This is how you're going to get more level-headed in dating. But I will be honest with you guys. This is why I'm really big on you. And I know, Elmar, we've talked before, you've gone on multiple dates, but this is also where like you have to continue to dating women. Because especially for you, Steve, I want you to, the more that you're in the face of women, the less excited you're going to get about any woman. Okay, so that's why it's really important just to go out there, especially for you, Steve, because I need you to start being impeccable with your word with women. I need you to start going on dates, even with women that you're not very interested in, but there may be a possibility, but just to go out there and talk to women, okay? That's why your online dating profile is going to be needed. I know you're working on it, so we'll get together on that soon, right? When you can, okay? Harvey.
I realized a couple of days ago more and more like something's been very evident to me that I've been following this consistent pattern, and even though I'm trying to get out of it, right? I've been better at it, but it seems like I come back to the same norm of the same cycle, right? Like for some reason, all the girls that I don't really show as much enthusiasm for are the ones that keep calling me back. Like they're not that they're bad or like they're just not what I'm really interested in. Like I didn't call this one girl I've been in Miami a long time, in a while, and then she called me back out of the blue, trying to want to talk to me, and she wanted to see me and whatnot. And the ones that I show a little bit more enthusiasm for are the ones that always mess up. I feel right, and I realized that, and they all fit a certain category, even the ones I like. The similarities between all of them, I kind of noticed, right? So it's like it's kind of funny because even though the ones that I've never had trouble picking them up or being going on the first date or something. It's about the follow up because obviously I realize I'm not very emotionally available, and I always show a little bit too much enthusiasm because of many things I've gone through.
It's
Like,
just the type of woman you're dating. The four
yeah,
different types of women are going to be really vital for you, Harvey. I'm telling you right now, I already know the type of girls that you're going after. You're going after girls that are getting attention from other men, and they also live off of attention from other men, and they want men with money, and they want to be flown here, XYZ there. They're not high quality women. They're just look the facade of a high quality woman.
oh, it's not even that. Like, what I realized is like every single one that I even showed slight enthusiasm for, like they're all like hustlers like I am, to a certain extent, and they'll always like, and they start asking questions about my life, like why are you like this last one certain one, like you're from Canada but you live in California, but I met you in Toronto, right? I'm like, yeah, it sums up my life, right? I'm like, and they always want to ask so much, but I don't really say too much, and like they
But that's
think
the
I have.
problem too. You can't be like this mysterious guy and like be like, oh, I like it's just you just have to be more of a like not an open book, but just open about you. Like you don't have to be cautious and be like, oh, I'm not going to tell. Yeah, well, that's my life. I'm in three. No, I work here. I like to travel in Canada. I have friends here. And fortunately, I created a life where I can travel, and that's what I'm doing.
But the thing is, when I've done that before, it never seemed to really work. It's weird. Like I don't know what it is, right? And it seems like,
It's the way that you're talking about it. I can tell you right now, it's the way that you're talking about it.
hmm
And also too, the type of women you're dating. You're dating these women that you meet at nightclubs,
true, or restaurant or whatever it is, right?
in the
Right.
nightlife. And so they're playing games. They are not ready. They want to challenge men. I mean, that's where you mistake high quality women. Like you're not going to find a high quality woman in a nightclub unless she's in a bachelorette party and she looks really uncomfortable, or she's just having the time of her life because she hasn't been in a club in 5 years.
Well, it's that, and for me, to be honest with you, like looks are important, but I don't care that much, to be honest with you. Like, to be very honest. Yeah, yeah, I'll go on a date with someone because she's hot. I'm not gonna really care if she's like. I've dated a girl who's hot but really stupid. And I just couldn't stand her. It just like I couldn't, right? It just like I had to drink to deal with her bullshit because she's that dumb, right? And not to be rude, but it's like,
That
yeah, I
is
have
rude, but okay. Uh-huh.
just like the stuff she would talk about. It's like I had a higher IQ at grade 8, like that's, and
Yeah, but
I
that's the
can't
thing is
stand.
like I think for you, ego gets in the way, number one. Number two is you're just not authentic, plain and
Hmm.
simple. You're not authentic, you're not real with yourself. You play a facade and you have a wall. And I've told you this before. And until you let that down, you're gonna just mirror and attract the women that are just like that too. And that's why you're having trouble with this.
Fair enough.
Okay, it's a harsh reality, the harsh truth, but I have to say it in order for you to hopefully grasp it and then try to disassemble it together.
Yeah, I do feel like I do have to like I've had like relationships where I had to lie a lot about a lot of things. And I don't like doing that because I'm not a liar, right?
But you
And I
never
just
had to, you choose to.
true. I chose to
Like
cut out
you have
just
to have, like, here's part of being a man, especially like the man that is wanting to better himself, he has to take accountability, right? And just even to own the shit that he doesn't want to really confess to, it's life. And so if you want to evolve and to create traction with women who are in a better caliber,
hmm
you've got to be in the better caliber first, right? So like a high quality man won't go on a date with a woman, number one, that doesn't have it intellectually up here, number one, just because she's pretty. Number two, also he wouldn't call her dumb or stupid.
I didn't say it to her face, but it's like
No, but intention with you, it'd be
fair
like
enough.
like I couldn't do that to a man, right? Like as a high quality woman, I couldn't be like, this guy is just fucking stupid. Like I couldn't say this because that's not, as a high quality woman, that's not me. I would just be like, he's just not there. There's just something about him,
I hear
right?
you. It's a
There's
better
a
way of saying that.
it's a different perspective,
I get you. I hear you.
right? And it's what you exude is what you will always attract. And so, Harvey, this is what we have to work on. There's nothing wrong with the women. It's just where you are and the type of women that you're attracting.
And sometimes I feel like as and I've noticed this too, is that sometimes some of the right girls would come around, and I'm not just
And
meant
they're
and
not interested.
not that they're not, they'll be initially interested, and because the way because they'll get to know me a little bit, what it is, right? But then it's something I always do myself to like ruin it in a sense, right? Like I had someone that I initially thought she was just so good looking, but then she actually was very intelligent. Like what surprised me a lot, right? And we just talked about some. It wasn't even talking about just random things, right? And it's just a matter of I always feel like I'm always going through some sort of like bullshit in my life, and the bullshit will just affect me like in a way where I can't like just like I live a high stress life with everything I'm doing, so it's like I always don't let things. I don't let myself enjoy things as much as I should. You know what I mean? And then that way,
I just think
if,
it comes down to you, plain
yeah,
and simple. You've got to mold yourself into a new version of Harvey, right? You have this act, you have this facade, you're like, oh, this and this, it's a victim,
fair enough.
right? I mean, I can sit here and be a victim and tell you guys I was physically abused, almost lost my life to a man that almost strangled me to death. And I was addicted to cocaine and I was addicted to alcohol in my life. And here I am teaching men. And at one point I hated men because I was abused by one. And I had a father that wasn't there for me emotionally. And I thought all men were assholes. And look what I do for a living. I have so much compassion for men. That's healing.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
So that's why as a coach, when you say something like this and you're like, but I have so much stress, it's bullshit.
It's true. I hear
I'm a
you.
woman, you're a man. If I can do it as a woman, you better fucking, excuse my French, do it as a man. Especially if you are a man that believes in a man being a man and a woman being a woman, and you want that embrace and the leadership in a relationship.
I kind of just felt sometimes I didn't deserve it. That's why I kind of just let it go aside because I love the bullshit and everything.
Exactly.
That's
That's
like,
where healing comes from. That's what
yeah,
I'm talking about. Perfect.
yeah,
What you just did is real. What you just said is real. What you just said is authentic. And you took accountability. You see what you just did?
yeah,
That's the Harvey we need.
fair enough.
Okay. Thank you for being open, Harvey. I know it's not easy, and guys, thank you and support each other through this too. And Harvey, I want to see this change. Once we start getting this change, once we still getting the clarity, your eyes open on this, and start working through it, we're going to be able to work through it fast and then get you out there, okay, with the right women. And I've been trying to do this with you since last year when we started our coaching.
Yeah, I went on a little bit of party vendor, so I'm sorry for
No,
that.
no. Listen, I lived your life once. I get it. It's addictive. It's addictive. It's fun, but it's not sustainable. Okay.
It honestly, it always comes, even though in the moment I love it, it always comes and bites me in the ass after. Like it fucks up everything I'm doing. All the
It's
fucking time.
empty. It's empty.
And it honestly it just not good. I gotta do it in spaces, but I have to I know how I have to like limit myself, and that's the problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're here, Harvey. Okay.
Yeah.
Good job. Michael.
Hey, I guess what I would look and help is just doing the online dating and just getting my profile cleaned up or whatever. I notice I'm using Match and I'm using Bumble, and I seem to get a lot of, I seem to be getting hits and views,
Okay.
but it's not from the type of people that I would interested in dating. And so I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to do differently to attract the type of person that I want to go out on a date with?
Yeah. Did we do your online profile revamp yet? I don't think I did.
No, I don't think we did. And I think after the last coaching call a couple of weeks ago, I sent you a message through chat, but you may have not seen it because you were still in France.
Oh no, I replied to everybody. I thought, hold on.
That's the biggest challenge. I mean, because for me going out and just with work and everything else I've gotten on, it's just online dating has always seemed to work better for me.
Oh my gosh, I opened it, but I never replied to you. I'm sorry that it didn't.
No worries.
I
I figured with you being on vacation in France that you may have not seen it, so it's all right.
Okay, so can you please send me in the chat pictures that screenshots? Basically, send me screenshots of your pictures and your bio. Okay, and then I want you to send me the type of women, like screenshots of type of women that are reaching out to you versus the type of women you wish could reach out to you. Just give me like 1 or 2 of the type of women who are reaching out to you that you're not really excited about. And then when you find a woman online, just send me 2 that of her profile
Okay.
that you would like to reach out to, just so I can have an understanding of what you're seeing online and what you're going after. And if it's in your caliber, I should say, we need to align your profile to that caliber. Okay.
Okay, and I think that's where would it be easier to do it through chat, or would it be easier for me to put this together in an email and just email all of it to you?
Chat, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Chat. And if it's too much, I'll always say to go to email, but chat, just because everything for my VIP clients is in this portal for me. So it's
Okay.
easier for my
Okay.
group code.
Okay, and then on a side note, the other relationship that you and I had talked about with the woman that was going through the divorce and separation, I nixed that.
Good
I
job.
killed it.
Good job. Let's move
Yep.
on.
It
So was a
wasn't
pattern.
going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere, and I didn't see it going anywhere. And I just finally told her, I said, I just, I think it's best that we just go back to being friends. I said, I'm sorry that this is not going in the direction that you want it to go, but I don't see a future
Good
with
job.
us together.
Kudos to you, Michael. That's growth. Amazing. Glad to hear this, because it was just kind of like a pattern, and then relationships and dating, like things like this are assignments. So it's about showing up differently to assignments so you can elevate to a next one. So good job.
Okay.
Yay. All right, gentlemen, we have reached our time. Today was a long call. Thank you for all of you for giving me some one-on-one time with you guys. I love that, and speaking up. Thanks, Steve, for leading all the guys in the call today. I appreciate your efforts. I appreciate your work. I appreciate everything. Please, gentlemen, take everything that I've given you today with any capacity that you have in your heart to really to really look at it and say, let me try to evolve and make these changes, or also to let me try to evolve and understand a little bit more and implement this in my life. Okay. So next week we'll do a little bit more. Again, the one-on-one slots will be coming up tonight. I'm going to tell Corona now to post them. So it'll be coming up soon. So I would just recommend everybody to book a one-on-one with me that is here in today's session. Since especially you, Steve, since we did the River of Life exercise. But if it's specifically for a topic, okay, I just need you guys to understand if you need me, it's specifically for a topic, or if I have something for you, I'll let you know. All right. Much love to you guys. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Later.